in those spaces is where I found myself responsible for something I desperately didn't want to be responsible for.
Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week so far. I hope everybody is feeling good, feeling great, drinking your water. It's springtime, getting outside, getting some sunshine on your face and feeling good. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a situation that happened a while back, but it is such an interesting story, if you ask me. And the layers to it and the video footage that we're going to go over is pretty interesting. Before we get into it, though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things way more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up. And over there, we talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for all the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies. That goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. Just make sure you read the full about section and what each tier offers before you join. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and I'm also on Like to Know It. And Like to Know It is a platform where you can find links to a lot of the things that y'all ask about, that I use, that I like, that I love. Like, you can find this top linked over there, this necklace that says Mama on it, jewelry, face creams, cooking utensils, a bike, a thing that goes on my bike for my cat to ride in. I mean, pretty much I can link everything over there, and I do, and all of those platforms are linked down in the description box if you would like to come and check me out. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh's meal kits help you save time by providing pre-measured ingredients and step-by-step easy instructions so you can create unique and delicious meals at home. If you're looking for more variety in your life and more flexibility, well, HelloFresh offers a wide range of meal options, from quick and easy meals to way more elaborate ones. And in 2025, HelloFresh has been evolving to fit every lifestyle by bringing customers even more convenience without compromising taste, health, or homemade quality. HelloFresh's new ready-made meals offer chef-crafted, flavorful dishes that are ready in just 3 minutes, and they are perfect for busy days when you just need a quick, delicious meal with zero prep. If you are a person that is looking to gain more like portion control in your life, well, HelloFresh makes it easier by curating delicious recipes and delivering perfectly portioned ingredients where there's less food waste, more accurate portion sizing, and it makes it easier for you to follow your dietary goals. I recently made these spicy salmon hand rolls with sesame, mushroom, carrot, cucumber, and crispy fried onions. And you guys, let me tell you, they were absolutely delicious. They were like crunchy on the outside and they were sweet and salty on the inside. Gosh, you guys, these are so good. I've already had one. I'm eating at least 4 of these. Wow. If you want to try HelloFresh, you can claim your free ready-made meals for life and 50% off of your first box at HelloFresh.com. Use my code ChristinaRandallRM and you can get 1 free ready-made meal per box while supplies last with an active subscription. That's 50% off, applied as a discount on your first box for new subscribers only, and it does vary by plan. Yes, that's free ready-made meals for life and 50% off of your first box at HelloFresh.com. Use my code ChristinaRandallRM and you can save today. Thanks again, HelloFresh. So before we get into today's video, let me just remind y'all that I'm not a professional. I pull all of my information from very public news sources that are already out there, filter it through my own words and opinions. So go do your own research and form your own opinions. I'm going to tell y'all this story to the best of my ability, and at the end, I will give y'all my opinion on everything, if I can hold it in. during the video. So make sure you stay to the end if you want to hear that. So let's just start at the beginning. Pamela Smart. She was born on August 16th of 1967 to her parents, John and Linda. They lived in Coral Gables, Florida, which is an affluent area in Miami, Florida, and it's just 7 miles south of downtown Miami and 4 miles from the Miami International Airport. Now, right now, this area has a population of only about 50,000 people, and Coral Gables is known for being the home to the University of Miami. A lot of people in and out of this little area. It is also known to be a beautiful city with around 140 restaurants, shops, and many infamous international retailers, as well as it being home to well-known landmarks like Venetian Pool, the Fairchild Botanical Garden, and the Miami Biltmore Hotel. Several movies have been filmed in Coral Gables, like Bad Boys with Will Smith. And even though this is a small area, there are several celebrities that live there. I believe like Mark Anthony lives there too. Now, even back in the 1960s, when Pamela lived there, it was still a really nice place to live. But when Pamela was in 8th grade, her and her family moved to Derry, New Hampshire. Now, Derry is a town in Rockingham County, and today it has a population of about 35,000, and it is very different from Coral Gables. But it is also a nice place to live, and it was a nice place to live back then when Pamela lived there. After completing high school, Pamela moved back to Florida. So she's living in Florida in this small, like, affluent area. Then she moves to this other area that's small, but also a nice area. And then now she's back in Florida so she could attend Florida State University. And this is where she got her degree in communications. Okay, that's important. She studied communications. At FSU, she interned at a local TV news station, and she was the host of a college radio program where she referred to herself as the Maiden of Metal. Now, mind you, Pamela loved to be in front of the camera, honey. I mean, she dreamed of this life where she would be seen by all, respected. She was considered to be very beautiful. She carried herself in a way that others were drawn to. And honey, she had the stars in her eyes from a very young age. Now, when Pamela went home to New Hampshire during a college break in 1986, this is where she met a man named Gregory Smart at a holiday party. They fell in love quickly, and Gregory moved to Florida to be with Pamela while she finished college. Gregory was born on September 4th of 1965, and growing up, he had what a lot of people considered to be a good childhood. He played Little League Baseball, and he even helped his team win the championship in the 1970s. And he was a big, like, daddy's boy. His father was so proud of him. By the time he was in his early 20s, it was the 80s, and he really enjoyed heavy metal music. Remember the nickname for Pamela? Okay. His passion for metal was initially what attracted Pamela to him. Remember the Maiden of Metal? Well, after Pamela graduated from FSU, her and Gregory got married in 1989. And mind you, Gregory was the type of guy that all the girls wanted. So you got Pamela, she's got the stars in her eyes. She is set on being this TV personality, and you've got the metal guy that all the girls want, that he only wants Pamela. They would go on to buy a condo together in Derry, New Hampshire, and they even got a dog that they named Halen after the metal band Van Halen. Gregory worked for an insurance company while Pamela worked as a media director at a high school. They started to build a life together, but just a few months into their marriage, things started to change. Pamela and Gregory started having problems, and Pamela started losing interest in Gregory. Can you imagine? Just a few months after getting married. Mind you, they're in their early 20s at this point. Apparently, Mr. Gregory, the metal husband, stopped listening to metal music. I mean, oh my gosh. He even cut his hair, and he started wearing suits to work. To me, it sounded like he was growing up, right? He's like, okay, I'm married now. We're settling down. Not saying that you have to cut your hair and wear a suit to grow up, but you know what I mean? Like, he's working as a businessman and he was playing the part. However, this definitely did not appeal to his wife, Pamela. She seemed to like the metal version of Gregory way better and not this new person that he was becoming. She claimed that Gregory had actually confessed to her, though, that he had a one-night stand early on in her marriage. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is what she says. And she said this really hurt her. But even with how hurt Pamela was, no one could have expected what was going to happen next. On May 1st of 1990, Pamela called 911 to report that somebody had came into their home, completely ransacked the condo, and had ended her husband's life. When the officers arrived, they discovered that Pamela and Gregory's condo was in complete disarray. They found 24-year-old Gregory deceased, face down in the hallway. He had one entry wound from a bullet that went right into the back of his head. Now, for weeks after the incident, Pamela made several TV appearances. She talked about how sad she was and how hard she was grieving over the loss of her husband. She told the media that she believed what happened must have been a robbery gone bad. There were a lot of people that felt like she was really loving this attention in front of the cameras. And mind you, in this little town that they were living in, there hadn't been any kind of crimes like this in so long. Some people could not even remember. Years and years and years. And as a matter of fact, Gregory's case was the only murder that had happened there all year. Now, all while this was going on, investigators started to become suspicious of Pamela. But their suspicions obviously were not enough. They needed something concrete against Pamela. Just 2 weeks after the incident, investigators got exactly what they needed. On May 4th of 1990, an anonymous female called the Derry police and told them that Pamela was involved in her husband Gregory's passing. She claimed that a woman named Cecilia, who was actually Pamela's student, she was her student intern while Pamela was working at the high school, had been the one to tell her this information. Now, at the same time, rumors started in that town that Gregory's life had been ended with a firearm that actually belonged to the father of a boy named J.R. Latham. When J.R.'s father heard this rumor, he decided to go and inspect his firearm, and when he did, he realized that it had recently been cleaned and not by him. So you imagine, he goes into the closet, he pulls out his box, he opens it up, and he pulls out his weapon, and he sees this thing is shiny. It ain't got a speck of dust on it. And he wasn't the one that cleaned it. So he became suspicious and he decided to go down to the police station and he turned it in. This led the investigators to actually arresting 4 teenage boys. 16-year-old Billy Flynn, 17-year-old Patrick Randall, 18-year-old J.R. Latham, and 19-year-old Raymond Fowler. Now, not long after these boys were brought in, they all flipped on Pamela. They claimed that she manipulated them into ending her husband's life. Yes, the 4 of them. They all did. They started telling. Now, see, Pamela met Billy Flynn in 1989 at the high school that she was working at when she was 22 years old and Billy was 15. Billy had long hair, and guess what kind of music he liked? Yeah, heavy metal. So you see where I'm going with this. In February of 1990, Pamela asked Billy if he ever thought about her in a more intimate way. A couple weeks later, she invited Billy to watch a explicit movie with her. Now, after the movie was over, the two were intimate. Billy claimed before long, Pamela started manipulating him. She would tell him that Gregory was treating her in physical ways that no person should treat another person, or a husband shouldn't treat a wife, and that she just could not divorce him because she would lose everything, including her dog. Like, she literally used her dog, Halen, to manipulate this student by saying, "He'll take my dog." One day, Pamela allegedly threatened to end her relationship with Billy if he did not go through with the plan that she was putting together to get her husband out of the way. So Billy, in his weakened state, agreed. He conspired with 3 of his friends to carry out Pamela's wish. Now, it is said that Billy and his friends went in the house and they completely ambushed Gregory. Patrick held a knife to Gregory's throat, and Billy told Gregory to get on his knees. Billy said, "God forgive me," before pulling the trigger. And then the boys ransacked the house to make it look like it was a robbery. Now, that student intern that we talked about earlier, Cecilia, was also approached by investigators, and she ultimately ended up to agreeing to wearing a wire while she was around Pamela. She was able to get tapes of Pamela acknowledging her role in what happened to Gregory. And with all of this evidence, investigators went and they arrested Pamela in the high school parking lot. The detective that arrested her said that he told her, "Well, Pam, I have some good news and I have some bad news." He told her that the good news was that we've solved your husband's murder, but the bad news is you're under arrest. I mean, how savage is that? We got good news and bad news. The good news is the case is solved. The bad news is you're coming with us, basically. Now, Pamela's trial was actually the very first fully televised trial in U.S. history. The whole country watched as Billy and his friends took the stand to testify against Pamela, and they had been offered plea deals for doing so. The prosecution argued that Pamela wanted an easy way out of her marriage, so she manipulated these young teenage boys into doing it for her. They also said that they believed that Pamela was hoping to collect Gregory's $140,000 life insurance policy. Cecilia's tapes were also played for the jury, and in them, Pamela said things like, "This would have been the perfect had those boys not bragged about what they did to their friends." And it's interesting that Pamela was saying that to Cecilia, who was the one that told her friend that called in the anonymous tip, who was also wearing a wire the whole time. So they may not have actually been bragging to their friends. It may have been the person she was talking to. Pamela testified in her own defense, however, and she said that she did have an affair with Billy, but that she had nothing to do with what he and his friends did to Gregory.
Do you want this jury to understand that Bill Flynn decided to kill your husband because you broke up with him?
I want this jury to understand the truth.
Is that what you're claiming the truth is?
I don't know why Bill Flynn killed Greg. I can just come in here and give my testimony.
So even as you sit here today, you still have no idea why he may have done this. Is that it?
I didn't say I had no idea, but I don't know specifically.
Well, I'm asking you, what do you think? Why do you think he did this?
Probably because he thought we could be together.
Billy got up on the stand and testified as well.
The hammer back, pointed the gun at his head. And, I said, "God forgive me."
After you said, "God forgive me," what happened?
I pulled the trigger.
On March 22nd, 1991, the jury found Pamela guilty of being an accomplice to first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit it, and witness tampering. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, Billy was convicted of second degree, and he was sentenced to 28 years to life in prison. He was eventually paroled in 2015, and his friends were all paroled as well. Pamela, on the other hand, is still serving her life sentence at a maximum security prison in New York. However, while she's been in prison, she's completed 2 master's degrees and has become a member of the National Organization for Women, which campaigns for the rights for women in prison. Now, it's not all been positive, because in 1996, she was severely jumped on, beaten up by 2 other inmates, and ended up with a fractured nose and a broken eye socket. And since then, she's been afraid of what staying in prison for the rest of her life will be like.
I really wonder, am I ever going to get out of here? Like, what's it going to be like to die in here? When I start thinking like that, I wish that I would have had the death penalty versus life in prison. I was jumped by 2 people. I ended up having to have plastic surgery on my face and a plate put in my face. I have a hard time understanding how they have so much forgiveness for the person that actually killed Greg. and none for me.
And I do have to wonder if that incident was over a relationship, because that's when it gets brutal in the females' prisons, is over a relationship. But what do I know? Pamela has said that she still keeps track of Billy because he is the key to her freedom. She wants him to come out and tell the truth, is what she says. But then in 2023, Pamela lost her final appeal option. And because of that, last year in 2024, she finally gave an interview. Now, although she has maintained her innocence, she said that she's taken responsibility.
My name is Pamela Smart. I've been incarcerated since 1990. I was convicted of being an accomplice to murder, and I'm serving a life sentence without any possibility for parole. I think I was incarcerated about at least 8 or 9 years at Bedford Hills, so probably 10 years into my incarceration before I got into Eve's group, Eve Ensler's writing group. And in that group was where I began, to dig deeper into my own responsibility. I always thought that I was going to a deep place, as we all did in the group. And she would pressure us and encourage us to go beyond into spaces that we didn't want to be in. For me, that was really hard because going into those places, in those spaces is where I found myself responsible for something I desperately didn't want to be responsible for. My husband's murder. I had to acknowledge for the first time in my own, mind and my own heart how responsible I was, because I had deflected blame all the time. I think almost as if it was a coping mechanism, because the truth of being so responsible was very difficult for me, because I'm not a person that went through life hurting other people. And it was a space that was very uncomfortable for me and something that was new.
Now, as for Gregory's family, they are obviously still dealing with the grief that they have had to go through over losing him. They say that they are still, after all these years, trying to pick up the pieces.
I think forgiveness is a good thing. But why is there no forgiveness for me?
Excuse me, nobody said we forgave Billy Flynn. We said we agree with what the justice system has done. There's no way in shape, form does this family forgive Billy Flynn.
I don't think she should be free. I think she orchestrated, planned, and plotted the whole thing. The state does as well. That's why the boys are being freed, and she is not.
She didn't make any deals. She's never said she was guilty or never said she had any part of it. She can rot there.
We wish she would serve her sentence quietly, like Flynn has done. But she can't do it.
What do I think? I think that it is unimaginable that she was even able to do what she was doing to the students. That's the first thing that was like, she didn't get charged with that. She didn't get charged with being intimate with a 15-year-old at 22. Like, I'm so sick of hearing these cases. How about y'all? Like, every time you turn around, we're seeing these teacher situations, and make an example. Make an example. That's all I'm saying. Plaster them everywhere, and let's make an example, because what the heck? The next thing is, I think she's extremely manipulative, and I think it's interesting that she got what we would consider a lesser charge than Billy did, but Billy got 28 years to life, and she got life without parole, and she has failed every appeal. And after all these years, every appeal that she has done, when she's gone before the board, she has continuously said that she was innocent. She had nothing to do with it. It's not even been until recently where she's saying that now she can see the role that she has had. And that's just unimaginable. Like, girlfriend, you were, even if she didn't plan it with Billy, who was 15, the fact she was having that type of relationship with him and he was unstable at the time and had, I mean, anyways, I think that the world is probably a safer place for her to be in there and for her to be doing her prison's rights stuff from the inside and hopefully actually helping other women that are getting out and are going to be back in society. What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Other than that, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.